Peace, family. It's your boy Zay-P, Zay-P that I am. I am that I am, as you are that you are, for we are all that we are. From the individual to the many, from the many comes the all, and the all is one. So you always back at it. I'm back with a brand new video. Today I got a couple things that Spirit's been placing in my heart, thoughts in my mind, and just general things that I've been seeing happening within various communities, whether they're spiritual, whether they're self-development, that are just full of misinformation, full of misunderstanding, and really need to be addressed and rectified. So here I am doing my duty. Go in, let's clear up some of this mess. Why your thoughts don't create reality? And I'm sorry, I know, especially for a lot of new agers, I know for a lot of just self-help, self-development people, we hear this narrative. Your thoughts create your reality. And it's not a bad narrative, in all honesty. Let's be real. It's because our thoughts play such a pivotal and vital role in the experience, but it is a fallacy. It's a bit of a fallacy. It's very illusory from the perspective that I see so many people running around saying your thoughts create reality, your thoughts create reality, and they spend so much time thinking that it's all about their thoughts creating reality, so they get to dismiss and bypass and ignore everything else happening within them. But then those same people are often the ones who are experiencing the most hardships, who are dealing with the most depression, who are dealing with the most anxiety, because the truth of the matter is, what they're finding is that their thoughts alone are not the only things that are creating their reality. And that's the point of this video. Your thoughts are not the only things that create your reality. There goes so much more into the reality and the lives that we are experiencing day to day here in the physical. So much more goes into it beyond our thoughts. So, yes, your thoughts help to shape your experience of reality. This is very true. Your thoughts is really, your mind is really an interpretation machine, right? It receives the signal, it receives the information, it translates it, it decodes it. This is what this is what that is, this is a table, this is a bed, that's a plant, whatever the case may be. Your thoughts will help interpret that information. And just like your thoughts help interpret the information from your senses, your thoughts also interpret the information as far as what your experiences are, and how you are processing them and judging them and gauging them as being polarized positive or negative. That all happens in your mind, right? So you go through an experience. It might be just a neutral experience. You went for a walk today. It was a bit of a long walk and you came home. That is the purest expression of the experience. But it's only in the thoughts where we start to say, hey, I had a great walk. I went outside. I got a sweat. I worked out. I feel good. Now I'm feeling energized. I'm feeling more lively, more awake. I had a great walk today. That's all the thoughts. The actual happening that took place, you went outside for a walk. It was a little longer than usual, right? Now a whole nother person can have that same experience. Go outside for a walk, a little normal than usual. And they can come back and their thoughts, based on how that person's polarized, might be, oh my God, I went outside and I just had the worst experience of my life. I went for a walk, everything went wrong. I didn't mean to be outside for so long. Now I'm sweating. Now I stink. I'm tired. I'm depleted with my energy. All of this is coming from the mental realm. All of this is coming from your mind, right? And so in that sense, your thoughts absolutely help shape the reality you're living. Your thoughts help to integrate and to interpret the information that it's receiving, right? Information from your senses, the 5 senses, information from your 6 sensory perceptions, right? These ESP, extrasensory perception gifts that all of us have that we may not necessarily know, but we do tap into them, and it's our brain that interprets that experience. You know, it is also our brain that makes the subjective judgment. Did this experience I go through, was it a good experience? Was it a bad experience? But there goes so much more into this process that goes beyond your freaking thoughts. And so when you start to think that only my thoughts create reality, you start to put yourself in this place of delusion. And this is where the problem arises. So many people fall into this state of delusion where they're thinking, well, as long as I just monitor my thoughts and think happy thoughts, that all will be well. And that's nice. That's nice. It is. It's good. Yeah, think happy thoughts. There's nothing wrong with that, because it is good to have your mindset polarized in a way that's going to be more productive for you, that's going to allow you to have the best experiences, that's going to allow you to enjoy your life. It's good to have your mind set and polarized in that type of way. With that said, when we start to say things like, my thoughts create my reality, well, then what about all of the unexpected things that happens in your reality? What about natural disasters, right? Did your thoughts create that hurricane or that snowstorm that just took place? Did your thoughts create the wildfires that's taking place in California? Were you thinking about any of this stuff? Because these things take place, these things are still happening, right? And you'll see it, you'll see the news come across your TV, you'll see it on your social medias, you'll see when people reach out and say, hey, this is going on, that's going on, right? And so even if you're trying to bypass and keep yourself in this place of, oh, my thoughts create reality, and so I'm going to be in this happy state and no bad things are going to interact with me, and I will just be happy-go-lucky as I float through the rest of my life. But then you start getting hit and hit and hit with external circumstances, right? Start getting hit with all of these. This is going on in the world. That's going on in the world. That's going on in the world, right? People around you start to have perspectives and opinions. Well, what are you doing? How are you helping? What did your thoughts have anything to do with that? Really? Because now your thoughts do play a role in when you receive this information, how you choose to respond. But these occurrences are still happening in your reality. They're happening in the reality around you. And that reality around you eventually seeps in and affects your personal reality. So can you really say your thoughts created that? So another aspect you want to think about when we say thoughts create reality, well, then what about the idea of co-creation? Are you living in your own bubble where you're just living all alone by yourself on a mountaintop, like the gurus talking to the sun 17 hours a day? Because I live in the modern world. I live in New York City, and I meditate every day, and I have my practices. I'm into my physical activity. I try to stay in shape. I have things that keep me connected. I ground with the earth. I sun gaze. I do all of these things. I have my spiritual practices. I pray, blah, blah, blah. That is fine and dandy. But I still live a very human life. I am in New York City. I'm in these streets. My father, I gotta take care of my son. I gotta be a provider. I take care of people. This is life, right? And so what I know, what you should know, what we all know is that there are other people in our life. There are other people that we deal with day to day. And to say your thoughts create reality does not account for them. How does your thoughts affect them? Because I can sit here all lovey-dovey and yes, I just meditated. I'm doing my beautiful video. If my son comes busting in that room, daddy, knocks over the camera and stuff, what happens then? Do I just say, oh, my thoughts created that? Because that would be, my thoughts had nothing to do with that. My son created that moment. And now my thoughts will help to allow me to respond in the way that I choose, right? I can, if I'm mindful enough, I can take a breath and not flip out and not go off on him, right? I can choose to say, that's okay, son, I love you, go outside, do whatever you gotta do. But I can also choose to flip out. What are you doing? I'm filming a video here. So that has nothing to do with my thoughts. That's co-creation. This is a collaborative experience, right? And so when we start to just think that we're in our own little bubbles and we're unfazed and untouched by the rest of the world around us, well, you can see that it's not 100% true when it comes to your day-to-day life. You can see that's not 100% true when it comes to the people you're dealing with and the ways that you're not able to control them. Let's face it, we're not able to control anybody but ourselves, no matter what. You might find yourself on a path that you like, yo, this is the way, right? I'm making money. I'm into cryptocurrencies. I'm making money. I got to tell everybody, yo, go invest in cryptocurrencies, right? I'm gonna go tell my lady. I'm gonna go tell my cousin. I'm gonna go tell my brothers. This is the wave. We're all gonna get rich, right? But then they turn around and say, "Are you crazy? Cryptocurrencies? That's not regulated. That's not sound advice. I'm not investing in that." They can go around to the people you're just talking to and be like, "Don't listen to him. He's out of his mind. Don't invest in that." Then what? When we get into a lot of these new agey kind of ways of being and trains of thought, I'm breaking down, not to say that they are wrong, but just to break down the fallacies behind them and the illusory natures that lead so many of us astray, lead a lot of us off a freaking cliff, because so many people, you see so many people walking around, oh, my thoughts create reality, and these are the same people who are like, my thoughts create reality, I can fly. And they step off a freaking roof and don't realize that, no, you're in the physical reality and gravity is going to hit your butt hard. It's going to hit you hard because we are in the physical reality and your thoughts ain't create the gravity, all right? The gravity is here. You got to deal with it. Your thoughts can tell you, hey, don't step off that building. Don't jump off that cliff. That might not be the safest thing. Make sure you got a parachute on your back. But your thoughts are not going to save you when you're freaking falling. So, that said, these are the different ways you got to understand that your thoughts help shape your experience of reality. And that is the truth behind this teaching that constantly gets lost, right? The people going off the deep edge and just running with this general blanket statement. The truth behind it was that your thoughts are shaping your experience, your personal experience of the reality, right? You have the power to control how you feel about things. You have the power to control whether things that you're going through are good experiences or bad experiences through your own choice, through your own sense of self and well-being, and deciding if this was a good experience or not for you. Let's talk a little bit about programming and indoctrination. When you're born and you're raised, whether into a particular family, through a particular educational system, through any particular traditional value systems like religions or anything else, there goes a level of programming in all of these things. So many of us, pretty much all of us, have in one form, shape, or another been programmed in our lives. If you ever spent any time watching TV, watching media, whether it's actual news and documentaries or whether it's fictional stuff, you have been programmed in certain ways. So to say that your thoughts create reality, what does that say about the fact that much of your thoughts have been programmed? Much of your thoughts have already been put there in place for you. Part of this experience of growing within these spiritual realms and within these spiritual understandings is to be able to look at ourselves and recognize truths. The truths within us that are really in resonance with our own heart, and the things within us that have been programmed and placed there that may not necessarily be in resonance with our own hearts. Because if your thoughts create reality, but then you have thoughts that have been placed there or implanted there, well then who is creating the reality? If you believe all your thoughts are creating the reality, thoughts create reality, and you spent a majority of your formative years having thoughts placed into your head for you, well then that would mean the reality that you're living in has been programmed and created for you. And that is a crappy way to live, isn't it? We all deserve to have our own opportunity to shape the realm that we live in, to shape the experience that we have. And part of growing up and growing older is learning to let go of the things that don't resonate with us, the things that don't serve us. Just like I say in these videos, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. When you can do that in your life, then you're coming closer to a reality that represents your truth, as opposed to a reality that has been set up for you. The next point that we got to talk about, right? What of emotions? What of your feelings? Do they play no role in the creation of your reality? Your feelings play a huge role in the experience of your reality. You can think whatever all day, but if you feel something totally different emotionally, you feel something totally different. I can say, oh, my thoughts create reality, but internally I feel like I got no control over anything. What kind of reality are you experiencing then? And so I can say, oh, I went for that walk. Back to the walk metaphor, right? I went for that walk and it was a great walk. I walked 45 minutes. I did my power walk. I did some jogging. That was great. I should feel great. I know it. I'm getting healthier every day. But emotionally, you could feel like crap. Oh my God, I'm 50 pounds overweight. That freaking 45-minute walk ain't doing nothing. I'm still starving. You might feel all this angst underneath while you're telling yourself these conscious thoughts, because we can create conscious thoughts, right? We can try to program ourselves. I feel this, I feel this, I feel this. And we can say it and say it and say it, but we may never actually feel it. So what of your experience of reality then? Because now you're coming to a place where you're being contrary to yourself. So who's in control? What reality are you experiencing? Is it the reality of your emotions and your feelings? Is it the reality of your thoughts? And if that's the case, if there are two different realities, the reality of your emotions and feelings and the reality of your thoughts, how can you say your thoughts create the all of reality? You can't even say your thoughts create the reality within the self, because you have different aspects to the self within. Your emotional being, your energetic being, your physical being, your spiritual being, along with your mental being, right? You have all of these different bodies with these different perspectives, with these different interpretations that absolutely play an influence in your overall experience of reality. And so when we get so much of this, your thoughts create things, right? And it bleeds into even the ideas of manifestation, right? I had somebody ask recently, I just keep visualizing what I'm trying to achieve, what I want to manifest. I've been visualizing and visualizing, but it still won't come. Newsflash, it's because your thoughts don't create reality alone. Great, visualize, that's beautiful. But now you got to do some things. You got to take some action, some physical actions in this physical reality, right? You're going to have to do some other things to make that visualization come true. But so many people are like, oh, my thoughts create reality, so I'm just going to sit here and visualize and think and think and think and hope and hope and hope and not see anything come of it. And then be disappointed and be jaded and feel like let down and feel like, oh, God let me down or whatever. When the truth of the matter is, you're letting yourselves down because you're walking around in these illusory states. You're walking around believing in these fallacies, thinking that they are the end all be all of all things. So the point of this video is to break through this idea of thoughts creating your reality, to understand the truth behind it. Your thoughts heavily influence your experience of reality, but they do not create your reality. Not entirely, not unto themselves. There's so many other influences that you need to become aware of if you're truly trying to be in control of the creation. And you'll never be in control of the creation because the creation already is. Life is unfolding around us each and every moment. We are just getting in where we fit in. You know what I'm saying? So the bottom line is, instead of believing that your thoughts solely alone create reality, recognize that your thoughts play a pivotal role and how you experience your reality. Your thoughts play a pivotal role in helping you to create the concepts of the reality you want to live. But it's going to take much more than just your thoughts alone to truly, truly create reality. Your thoughts do not create the reality. Your thoughts merely influence and shape your experience of reality.